Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Sid, aka Vicious274, coming at you with another episode of Every Sneaker Pickup Has a Story. So, in this one, in my previous video, I mentioned about how I'm starting to get a little bit more informed on when sneakers are going to be dropping before they even drop. And there is one particular person that I follow on Instagram called Z Sneakerhead Z. And he's like the person to follow to find out when something's coming out. And there's a lot of rumors out there on other shoes that are going to be dropping that people do to probably like fake news to get clicks on their Instagrams, and he can basically validate if that's a true drop or not. So Z Sneakerhead is like the guru in the sneaker community, and it was in. I got this sneaker in May of 2022, and I think he announced it. He showed a fit of. He does mock-up photos, and then he also gets the actual photos when they decide to release them. So the sneaker I'm talking about is this one here. Now it's a Jordan 1 mid, elephant print, and SE for special edition. Now, he said that these were going to be releasing in spring of 2022. But normally when he does his first drop on sneaker information, he doesn't have the exact date on when it's going to come out. It just gives you like a timeline. So spring 2022. And then he'll say, stay tuned for further updates on when the sneaker is actually going to be dropping. Now, here's the thing. I think the reason why we never got a follow-up on this one is because it's a Jordan 1 mid. And a lot of the sneaker community kind of frown on Jordan 1 mids. This is the only Jordan 1 mid that I own. And I kind of feel the same way also. But when I saw that this was a special edition, that kind of changes things a little when it comes to Jordan 1 mids. Usually with a Jordan 1 mid, if it's just like your standard general release, I'm just going to give you guys a quick 360 of this one too while we're talking here. When it's a general release, they tend to go kind of cheap, I guess is the word, on the materials that they use, like the leathers that they use. They're not the best qualities, they're not the best cuts, and that's why you get them for a lot cheaper than, say, a Jordan 1 High OG. A lot of people also don't like mids because, Jordan never wore mids. At least to my knowledge, he never wore a mid. And they don't really like the look of them. Like, they prefer the higher ankle, and rightfully so, because I kind of am the same way. Even though I own a Jordan 1 mid, I'll explain why that is. I can understand why people say that. And I think that's why we never got a follow-up on this sneaker on when the exact date was going to be dropping. And so he's just kept, I just kept going back to that post to see if anybody in the comments would have had any more information, but it was still just spring of 2022. So I'm sitting on the veranda with my wife and a friend of ours, and we're just chatting it up. And I'm scrolling through Nike for some reason. Oh, Father's Day was coming up. Father's Day was coming up, so I was looking to see if there was anything that I could maybe grab. I needed like some t-shirts, shorts, or whatever. And then normally when I go on to Nike, I know that in the States, they do a lot of like restocks and shock restocks. So whenever I go onto Nike, I always kind of, search for shoes that I would be interested in to see if there might have been a restock. And I searched for Jordan 4 because Jordan 4 is one of my favorite silhouette, and all the images came up, and I started scrolling, and then as I was scrolling, these went whoop, and I was like, wait a second. So I scrolled back down. I'm like, it just happens to be spring of 2022, but there was no follow-up date on when these were going to be releasing. It was basically just, if you find them, you find them, I guess. So I went back onto my Instagram, and I was like looking at other people, and I was like, what's going on? How come?
Get that. Could you try again?
Oh man, what is that? We're going to keep that in there. So basically, I was trying to find out what was going on and why nobody had a specific date on when these were going to be releasing. I think Z Sneakerhead did post that they were going to be dropping, but I missed it. So, I mean, that was a while ago, and I'm not going to go scrolling through his history just to find out if that was the case. But I think that is what happened. So, I scrolled upon these, and I wasn't sure when they dropped, so I didn't know if my size was going to be available. But I found out later on that people aren't too hype on mids, and people aren't too hype on elephant print being on ones, because apparently elephant print is only meant for threes. And I get that. A lot of diehard sneakerheads believe that that's the way that it should be, and rightfully so. But I saw these, and I really liked them, and they were a special edition, so I knew the materials were going to be a little bit better than your typical Jordan 1 mid. And in this case, they are. They actually use like a nice nubuck. It's not a suede. It's more of like a rougher nubuck. The leather here on the side, it has like this, like a snake skin print on it. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that. It's very, very nice. The elephant print is basically what caught my eye when I first saw this shoe. And I was like, I'm going to end up going for this sneaker. But then when I saw that it dropped, I was like, well, wait a second. What? I didn't even know that these dropped. What if they don't have my size? So luckily, people aren't really into mids as much as they are into regular Jordan 1 highs. So my size was available. So again, we're sitting on the veranda. My wife's on one side, our friend's on the other side, and they're chatting away, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, oh, babe, Father's Day is coming up, and I just saw these. And she was like, yeah, just buy them. She was like, I know you want them, just buy them. Happy Father's Day. So I was like, beautiful. So I got them, and obviously got them for retail. So I think after taxes, these were like $198, somewhere around there, just under $200. And I got free shipping on them, so I basically just paid for retail plus tax. And I like them. I know a lot of people don't, but I like them. I call these my ugly ducklings. Everybody has, if you're a big sneaker collector, everybody has an ugly duckling in their collection. And these, while I call them ugly ducklings, I really don't think they're that ugly. These are, however, my beaters. These are the one of the cheapest Jordans that I've ever purchased. I believe, I'm going to say these are the cheapest Jordans I've ever purchased. And I know they're not going for much. On StockX Canada, the resale value, I think, is at like $220. So, I mean, if I was to sell these used, I'm definitely not going to be getting what I paid for them, obviously. Some sneakers you can, depending on the hype of the sneaker and the demand, you can get your money back even if it's used. But with this one, definitely not going to happen. So these end up being my beaters, and I like them. And then it generally, when it comes to Jordan mids, I've got like quite a bit of ones now, but and they're all high OGs. But when it comes to mids, there's some nice colorways out there. But me personally, now that I've owned Jordan 1 high OGs, those are going to be the only Jordan 1s that I own. Unless I can get my hands on a high 85 cut. Now, those are really hard to get. But these will probably be the only mid that I ever own. So yeah, Jordan 1s, they've got a very strong following, and people... The lows Jordan 1 lows used to get a lot of flack, but now people are, really liking the Jordan 1s. Like, people used to hate them, but now they're creeping up in popularity. So you never know what might happen with the Jordan mid. But for my preference, Jordan 1 high OGs are the way that I'll be going when it comes to Jordan 1s. But that's a different story. And that's another story. All right, guys. Halfway through, my light decided to conk out. I hope the lighting was okay with just my lamp here in the room. But I got to see what's going on with that light. But anyways, wear your sneakers, because that's what they're meant for, and keep them loose-laced. Peace.